Call the meeting in order and ask for a roll call.
Blunier.
Here.
Cirilli.
Here.
Hilliard.
Here.
Leach.
Here.
Mennel.
Here.
Parrott.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There is no public hearing or presentation. Anyone for public comment? Just come up to the microphone.
Well, good evening to all of you. My name is Kevin Souter. I am here representing 360 Electric Heating and Cooling here in Morton, Illinois tonight. And let me just start by saying thank you so much for what you do for our community. And if any of you have not been in the old Farm and Fleet on Detroit since it was a Farm and Fleet, and you want to stop by and get a tour of the facility, I'd love to walk you around. It's an amazing place, what's going on there now with 360 Yield Center and our business, the 360 Electric Heating and Cooling business there. Tonight, I'm going to just, you should have a handout in front of you if you want to reference that while I'm talking. The reason why I'm coming tonight is to share a little bit about an idea that one of our local businesses has had and has approached us to build a solar canopy at their commercial location. This happens to be Lighthouse Automotive out at the Collision Center on Jefferson Street. It's interesting, in the last couple of weeks, we've actually had a couple other businesses, one of them also in Morton, ask us for a similar thing. So it's not just a proposal or a concept that is specific to one company tonight. This is more about a concept for a solar canopy that can help a business, a commercial entity, offset their energy usage that my understanding is not currently allowed by Morton's code. So Morton's code allows rooftop solar and it allows ground mount solar, but it does not yet allow solar canopies. My understanding is that would fall into more of a carport type situation, and carports are not allowed by Morton's code. So my thought tonight is just to introduce you to this concept, and I'm going to make a request. If the board would be open to considering this as something to investigate further, they could potentially bring more development to the businesses in our community. So if you would just start by the first page of the little handout, you can see that we're talking about engineered solar canopies. The proposal would be for commercial grade. This is not residential. This is commercial grade solar canopies. Page 2 says, why a solar canopy? Well, there's three things I want to highlight for us. First, the solar canopy allows people to benefit from hosting the energy, the solar panels, while also being able to park vehicles underneath that canopy, which protects the vehicles from UV and also hail damage and bad weather. They can be done very aesthetically. You'll see these all over. These are very popular in the West. If any of you travel out west, you'll see lots of solar canopies. Not very popular yet in Illinois, although I just talked today to another solar developer who just installed one for a church in Marion, Illinois. And the church is loving it. You know, it's DOT compatible, 14-foot clearance on the front, 20-foot clearance on the, well, it's actually 20-foot clearance on the front, 14-foot clearance on the back. So these are large structures that allow churches, nonprofits, businesses to protect the vehicles and still benefit from the energy and help offset a significant portion of their energy cost. On the next page, page 3, you will see that these are commercially designed. They're distinct from residential carports. I want to make that very clear. If there's concerns about carports in our village, these are very distinct from that. They look very much like commercial buildings or commercial canopies. They are architecturally engineered steel structures, heavy gauge steel, DOT compliant. Often we can build those with integrated drainage and integrated lighting that helps with safety concerns. And you can have all kinds of finishes on those so as to not distract from the aesthetics of what they look like. If you go to page 4, you can see the specific project that caused us to bring this to the trustees' attention. It is the Lighthouse Collision Center out on Jefferson Street. You can see where the proposed solar canopy would go. I think it's kind of interesting that right across the street are some carports, actually, so we just wink, wink, and say, well, isn't that interesting? There are already carports in that area, but we're not calling these a carport. We're calling them a solar canopy. We thought that might be more attractive for the board tonight. And the next, but again, keep in mind, this is just the project that brought this forward. It's not the only project that we think some of our commercial customers in town would be open to thinking about. The next page, proactive leadership. Want to just encourage the board. Again, it's never easy to be in leadership. I've been in leadership positions in my life, and I really respect and appreciate all that you guys are doing as leaders for our community. I want to emphasize that. One of the things that's important is to keep the community aligned with all of the state regulations that continue to impact our community. You may or may not be aware that in January, Governor Pritzker signed the Illinois, well, it was a SURGA, it was a bill called SURGA, the Clean Reliable Grid Act. Part of that SURGA bill was an Illinois Bill of Rights that is now going to have some bearing on how much authority a local municipality can have on prohibiting solar that's being wanted to do in their communities. So this type of an idea where we could allow for a way for commercial solar canopies to be code compliant in our community would help us stay compliant with that kind of statewide statutes. And it also, of course, encourages private commercial investment, local job creation, increased permit revenue for the city, and maintaining while maintaining the residential integrity that you're wanting for our residential parts of our village. So I'll close by just asking the question, would the Village of Morton consider adding commercial solar canopies to our code? I understand that would take a process, and our question would be, how could our business help be part of the solution to that and be a great partner for the community in these regards? I have lots more information that I can give to all of you or one of you or some of you if you're wanting to know more, but at this time I'd open it up for questions and be glad to consider how I can help.
Anybody have a question, or I can get the info from him?
I just have a comment.
Yeah.
This is also gaining popularity in commercial and residential in the Southwest.
Yes, it's it's much more popular in the Southwest at this time, yeah. And I would just say too, this is not limited to like what you would see as just a carport, which maybe 4 legs or 1 leg with an overhang. This can be as different as a building, like a glass-covered building where you build a steel structure and then the glass roof are solar panel roofs. So this is, the solar canopy concept is way broader than just, a lean-to or something like that you might traditionally think of like for a carport, so.
Well, if you have more info, why don't you drop it off to City
Yeah.
Hall? Attention.
What I do is I'll set a stack right here, and you guys can pass it down if you want. Otherwise, just get that to Jeff. And thank you again for letting me take a few minutes of your time tonight, and thanks for what you do for our community. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love to have you stop by the office and give you a tour. Thank you.
Don't forget to show them the good brickwork.
Oh, yes, of course.
Hi everybody, my name is Amy Jones and I live at 201 East Madison Street in Morton. And I'm a 4th generation Mortonite with 2 kids who represent a 5th generation. I'm speaking on behalf of the vote to approve an ordinance making amendments to Title 10 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding zoning for boutique event centers. Thank you so much to the Village Office for the support, to the Plan Commission for their approval, and to all of you tonight for your consideration. A few years ago, the History Channel show American Pickers came to town to go through our house, or rather our family homestead. It is the house my great-grandparents bought when they moved to town in 1912. It has remained in our family this entire time, so as you can imagine, there are stories in every room, and not only my family history, but that of Morton's inside each wall. During that experience, I had the honor of sharing these stories and gaining a whole new perspective and appreciation for the history we had at our fingertips. Having discussions about the value of honoring the past and making it accessible for the present resonated with me, and to be honest, is what I think Morton is all about. Since that day, my husband and I have talked about how much we would love to bring back a piece of what my great-grandfather had and to share in the history and legacy of the town the way he did. Fast forward to this past fall when tenants of ours planned to move locations, and we now had a downtown building that was waiting for a new life. Enter the Exchange. This idea came as a nod to my great-great-grandfather and great-grandfather Harry Zell, who opened the Stock Exchange in Tremont in 1901. Originally a saloon, it was established as a place where hopes and dreams were shared, ideas were discussed, friends gathered, and life's moments were exchanged. In 1912, when Harry moved to Morton, he brought the saloon with him. The location and name changed, but the exchanges remained the same. Like our homestead, the building has remained in our family for generations, and while it has been home to several other businesses over the years throughout this community's history, there has always been an exchange of stories and fellowship within the walls, and that is what we want to continue. As an event planner by trade, I know the industry. Boutique event spaces are on trend with predictions to only increase in popularity, bringing a variety of vibrant individuals seeking a place that evokes a feeling of warmth and welcome. In fact, according to Expo Pass, an industry source, quote, people are seeking historic or culturally significant locations and are prioritizing unique venues. The current zoning ordinance does not include a boutique event space under any section. So what better way to share a piece of Morton's past with the community than to make it accessible and entertaining for the future and allow it to be part of the downtown district. The event industry also helps promote revenue in communities, bringing an average of $334 return to every $100 spent. To promote and exchange and enhance this revenue in the downtown district, we want to create a business that not only welcomes people to use our space, but to patronize other local downtown businesses at the same time. For example, if you need desserts for your baby shower, contact Eli's or Sucre. Need some centerpieces for your bridal shower? Reach out to the Potted Jade. Or when Renewed Radiance hosts a ladies' night but wants a larger space for guests, we can open our doors to handle the overflow. For other local small businesses that do not have a brick-and-mortar location, we can be a space to host them for pop-ups, providing opportunities to be seen and grow. In the Village of Morton Comprehensive Plan, a link to which is on the Village of Morton website, it seems like this amendment is the exact goal. Under the Downtown District section, it states, quote, review provisions of the Morton zoning ordinance to identify regulations that may hinder redevelopment of properties within the downtown area. People are looking for intimate, unique, boutique-style spaces that tell a story. What better story to share than that of Morton's history? We invite you all to our space, because but what better way to honor the legacy and generations that brought us to this point and the history of the town we are all rooted in than to welcome others into this space to share their own hopes and dreams, discuss ideas, celebrate fellowship, make memories, and exchange special moments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
No, we'll be voting on it shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nope. Consent agenda is approval of the minutes tonight at the regular meeting of March 16th, 2026, and the approval of the bills. You have a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel,
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have nothing tonight. Village clerk,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
village administrator.
I have a few items tonight, Your Honor. The first of which is I would just like to introduce the preliminary budget for fiscal year 2027, which is May 1, 2026 through April 30th, 2027. Just to highlight, there's $44.8 million in budgeted revenues and $54.6 million in budgeted expenditures, of which there's $17.2 million is capital outlay. So the current budget shows a $9.8 million deficit. I've outlined in the memo that will be in the packet, or that is in the packet, that the overall big projects that make up that $17.2 million, but this is just an introduction of that. If you have any questions between now and the next week or two, so that I can get it back on the agenda to be approved on the 20th.
Any questions? All right.
And the next item is Resolution 3526, which is a resolution of the Village of Morton in support of Municipal Housing Authority.
Move to approve. Second.
This is just a resolution in support of Illinois Municipal League's actions to try to prevent. There are multiple bills proposed by the state of Illinois which would override the village's authority in relation to residential zoning. If I sent links to all of you, if you've read any of them, some of them are very concerning to me, just as a person. You know, that you could build a 6-story apartment building with one staircase as a means of egress, as long as it's sprinkled. To me, that's, you know, something that Morton wouldn't like, but that's something we would be forced to allow to happen under the several bills that the state has proposed.
Any questions?
So this goes back to the Illinois Municipal League then, as part of their lobbying
Right.
for that, correct, you bet?
Just to show that all these municipalities are in support of the failure of these. This, I believe, is the second time many of these bills have been brought forward.
Can we put a note in here saying if they want to do this north of I-80, we don't care?
I agree there.
That was good. If no questions, call the roll.
Cirilli.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And the next item is ordinance 26-31, which is an ordinance amending Title 8, Chapter 15, Section 3 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding utility deposits.
You have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
This ordinance would remove from our code the requirement for a $100 deposit for garbage service. It was originally put in when the original garbage service billing ordinance was passed, but it is something we've not enforced at all since then, so this would just remove it from the code.
Any questions?
Then on section E, it's the one in green. Is that an addition then?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Forgot that was part of it. This addition is to, it's only happened a couple of times, but if a person is allowed to retain ownership in a foreclosed property, this would require them to pay a utility deposit of 3 times their average usage over the last year to protect the village, because one of the 2 times that, in the recent times that this has happened, the person had a huge amount owing to us from utility billing that we could not collect on when it was foreclosed on, and then we had to start over and not require a deposit from them because they were a property owner, not a tenant. So this would just add that little bit of coverage in the case that were to happen again.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Cirilli.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And the last item I have tonight is ordinance 26-32, which is an ordinance making amendments to section 8-17-3 and 8-17-6 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding the use of village-owned property.
You have a motion?
Move to approve ordinance 26-32. Second.
And this is, when we initially started allowing the use of what's now called Church Square, we were trying to push more event-type things to that location, and so we weren't going to require a usage per day for commercial events that were going to go on, or a deposit to cover any maintenance that we had to do after the events. What has happened now is we have been getting requests from basically like a food truck type thing. They want to come park there for a day and offer whatever it is that they're selling, and there wouldn't be any fee under the current. Were they to use any other village parking lot, they would be paying the $250 fee that we charge per day for any commercial use of village parking lots. And my main concern with that was, when you allow food trucks, it's great for the populace, but it's also damaging to the brick and mortar stores within the village that may sell, say if it's a coffee truck, we already have coffee, 2 or 3 coffee shops in town. And so with there not being any fee to be charged to the use of the village church square, to me, this kind of levels the playing field a little bit where we're getting something from it. They're having to pay something to use the space. And it's not as detrimental as the $250 that it is per day to use the other parking lots in town.
Any questions?
Is it farmer's market being, how is that?
They're a not-for-profit. This would be just commercial, okay, I'll use Chick-fil-A has used it as a pop-up place. This would be something that they would have to pay the $100 fee. Generally, the $250 deposit is only kept or partially kept if they've left it behind a lot of garbage or something that Jeff has to pick up.
I've picked up some garbage there a few times and cleaned out garbage cans, so we need something to make sure they take care of it themselves. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Leach,
Yes.
Mennel,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Motion passed.
That's it.
Chief of Police,
Nothing tonight.
Corporation Counsel,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Fire and Emergency Services,
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works.
Several items tonight, Your Honor. First is item A. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the 2026 miscellaneous concrete repairs project in the amount of $600,002.58 and award of contract for same to Gensini Excavating Incorporated.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Yeah, just a couple things. First of all, with Gensini, they were the third bidder. It's Autobahn NAP, so we're very fortunate to have 3 bidders. Gensini does have an office in Peoria and has done recent work for us too, so we're excited with the prices here for this work. I did budget in the budget 1.25 million, so this was significantly under that. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. I did put a packet in front of you that shows the streets that are involved with that.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Mennel,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Next is item B. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the 2026 mill and overlay project in the amount of $1,186,515.05 and award of contract for same to R.A. Cullinan and Son Incorporated.
Do you have a motion again?
Move to approve. Second.
Yeah, so this is our annual overlay. Unfortunately, one bidder, we work very diligently to try to get multiple bidders, but in the asphalt world, it's pretty difficult around here. So those prices were within range of last year's slight increase, so still feel comfortable with those prices that we review annually. With some of the engineering involved, this will come under budget too, which we budgeted 1.3 million. So between the two, will be about 2 million for the miscellaneous concrete and the overlay.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Perry,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach,
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next is item C. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for the 2026 seal coating and fog coating project in the amount of $372,693.45 and award of contract for same to R.A. Cullinan and Son Incorporated.
We're gonna have a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
This too, one bidder, Porter Brothers typically bids. They will no longer be bidding in the state of Illinois. So R.A. Cullinan is the lone bidder on this work. It was within reason and under budget, budgeted $600,000 from MFT funds. So the plan is to use MFT funds for this, which is also in the budget, so. And again, those locations are in front of you and were emailed to you. So with that, any questions?
Is there a
Questions?
Is there a specific reason why there are multiple people wanting to asphalt that one? I just wonder if there's a specific reason.
I don't know, there's some territorial stuff with that, and it's very hard to put those up. So you go up to Rockford, I can tell you your prices will be a lot cheaper because there's competition. So, 20 years ago, and R.A. Cullinan does a great job. I'm not trying to say anything, but competition went away quite a while ago in this world around Central Illinois. So Advanced Asphalt will get down here on some work in East Peoria. We've been unsuccessful to get them to bid here for certain reasons. Tazewell County typically does not bid this work. They'll bid other work. We work very hard, us, Pat Meyer, we work very hard to try to, obviously, I want to bring to you guys, anytime we bid something out, I'd like to bring at least a couple bids. Even with a couple, three's the best.
You do a great job.
So,
Cullinan does a good
yeah.
job.
And they do a great job.
Competition's a good thing from
Yes.
a budget perspective. That's
But we continue to keep an eye on prices, at least from previous years, to make sure those aren't out of whack, especially if they know they're not bidding against anybody. So, it's a concern.
When did you open these bids?
It was a couple weeks ago.
Before the Iran gas prices or the oil prices all went through the roof?
Probably before the
It would've-
second wave of
yes.
race.
So we probably
Yes.
did.
And that would
We
affect
probably
it.
did pretty good then.
I say we did pretty good, yes.
Any other questions? Call the roll.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Next is item D. I'd like to ask for acceptance of bid for water distribution materials to Coram, Maine in the amount of $42,898.76.
Motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
Had two bidders on this. We appreciate Coram, Maine and Ferguson. They were really close on this, which you would tend to be close with the work we're bidding here. So this would be for the work that Casey and his crew will be doing here coming up. So I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Lastly, and probably most importantly, is item E. This is Resolution 36-26. This is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Ameren Illinois Company for interconnection and construction of standby natural gas service.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve? Second.
Yeah, so I put some information in front of you. Previously, the one exhibit that shows the path of the easement and natural gas, that's in there. And then I also left a plan of Ameren's reg station that would be constructed in the orange area on that exhibit. So before I get to that, first I'd like to recognize Logan Harmon from Ameren in the audience and Superintendent Scott Stidman. Appreciate their persistence and patience. This goes back to the beginning of Mayor Rainson's term, I believe, Scott, with several lunches, and this was a dream of, I would have to say, Scott's. I jumped on board pretty quick, so this is an important one. This is just for emergency events only, but once we install the gas, connect to Ameren, which does have gas service that comes through Morton. They do serve even portions of Morton. But this would allow us to connect to them in the event of emergencies only. I would also like to say my thanks even to Panhandle, which I know Scott and I were even told from some others in the business that there's no way you could get this done. So again, we appreciate Ameren, who we consider a partner in just about everything. Some people might see them as competition, but we see them as a partner, especially when it comes to gas safety. So thanks to Logan, who's also a Mortonite, John Bozarth. There's probably too many people that to name here. But anyway, to get this going, the approval of this, there would be a check written for $508,082.40. I do have that invoice from Ameren. That would be the next thing after you approve this tonight to get started with this work. And then there would be a fixed annual cost, just because they're gonna have work to do at that reg station annually. Right now, that's estimated to be $37,240 annually. I anticipate that could fluctuate a little bit as we go forward. Again, any questions that you guys have, I know Logan and Scott would be glad to answer any specific questions also.
Any questions?
No, but I appreciate Logan, us getting this accomplished. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you to you both. Thank you to Scott for dedication to championing this for a very long time.
When Scott's on it, there's no questions.
He was not gonna let go of this. No, but anyway, we appreciate it. This may not save us in every event for the whole town. This is a work in progress. But it's an important thing for Morton long-term, to be able to be in a position to serve portions of our community in the event of an emergency. As we all know, our gas, which is very reliable, is one way in. So in those instances, this would assist us there. We hope we never turn this valve. It'll be an expensive valve someday that we never use. But it does provide us, a little bit of safety net as we go forward. And we'll continue on these things as we go forward to try to put us in the best position as we go forward in the event of emergencies.
All right, any questions? Call the roll.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Cirilli.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Okay, Zach, you're up. We all want to make the basketball game, so. You're on the clock.
Well, I've just got a few items tonight, Your Honor. First of those items being item A, ordinance 26-29, an ordinance making amends to Title 10 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding zoning of instructional fitness studios.
If we could have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'm going to speak to each of these because I've worked closely with Zach on them. The proposed zoning amendment for instructional fitness studios would create a defined use for instructional fitness studios. Also, to distinguish it from other similar uses, it also creates a defined use for dance, art, and music studios. It would schedule the instructional fitness studios as a special use in B2. It does not schedule the dance studio, which would still leave it then under the B3 classification.
Zach, you want to add anything?
I think that summarizes it very well.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Leach.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Parrot.
Yes.
Blunier.
Yes.
Cirilli.
Yes.
Hilliard.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Second item tonight, Your Honor, is item B, ordinance 26-30, an ordinance making amends to Title 10 of the Morton Municipal Code regarding the zoning of boutique event centers.
We have a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
I'll speak to this one as well. This proposed ordinance derives from interest in Ms. Jones, who spoke earlier tonight. For her space specifically, the zoning amendment would define a boutique event space. It also, for the purpose of making distinctions, separately defines a reception facility and a public meeting hall, and then it schedules these within our schedule of uses. Boutique event space would be scheduled as a permitted use in B2, which would leave the others B3 uses.
Any questions?
I have a comment. I've been, over my tenure here as a village trustee, I've been pretty consistent in my stance on particular businesses in the downtown area, particular businesses, and the parking that they should be requiring. I look at this, for instance, the individuals who may operate an event center can have up to 45 people within that facility. I think we're looking at two things. We're looking at whether the interior can provide this, and I know that we've had staff go down there and it does. But my problem isn't with the interior. My problem is with the exterior. We're put in a place which is going to be downtown, and as much memories and history that it values, it provides no parking space. As someone who has dealt most of my life with parking matters, I see this as a potential issue, and to quote a renowned risk management trainer, predictable is preventable. And if we're sitting in a situation that we can predict that we may have potential problems with this parking issue, we should address it before it actually raises its head. If this gets approved to put into B2, there's nothing that provide for the parking space. If we do what was done in the earlier one and look to maybe potentially put it in B2 or B3 with a special use in B2, then we have some type of oversight on that. But again, I will tell you that I've been consistent with that, and I believe that any time that anyone or any entity isn't consistent with their stance, that they bring themselves rightfully so to question. And this board has taken a stance in the past, and I see if they pass this, they're bringing themselves to question. Because we have had other businesses come in and want to provide parking for them when they did not fall into the restricted area. And I think that that is a major problem. I think it's a door that we don't want to open up, a path we don't want to go down. I think we're looking at something different if we make it B3 with the special use. Then we have some oversight and review that we can do that. But I think as it is, I think it's wrong for us to do it. I think we're picking and choosing who we're going to do something for and not. And I see that's how some of the public's going to view that. And again, if we're going to be inconsistent, we're bringing ourselves to question. And I've got a lot more to say, but I'm going to close it off as there.
Any other comments?
Trustee Hilliard, so I want to make sure I understand what you said towards the end. Are you thinking that that the ordinance itself, because of the term boutique, should be a special use in B2?
I think that it could comply in, or could go into a special use, but make it not B2, make it B3 with a special use in B2, much like is just happened with the fitness.
Right, so, and that's why I make sure. So it could be a B3 anyway, because everything in B2 can go to
Right.
B3. So in B2, would you want to make it a special use?
I would be willing to vote for that, as long as our staff had.
Do you want to make an amendment to that?
I can do that. I would, help me, Counselor, with my wording, but I would make a motion that we use the special event space and boutique to B3 with a special use in B2, as opposed to what's currently here.
And I would second that motion.
But you're not addressing the parking problem, you're just worried that something else will come along that would.
Well, if we open that door, anything else can come in.
I heard you, but you're not addressing any parking issue with the.
The
with the
oversight
business
and
that we're talking
review
about.
could do that. Right now, Trustee Mendel, we've got a parking lot that the village built about 2 blocks away. In my history, people won't walk that. You know, they're gonna try to get as close as they can to that location to park, and it's gonna cause a parking congestion or potential in the downtown area.
So your point is, you're worried about something in the future that we
Yes.
wouldn't have a leg to stand on. You're not
Yes, I am.
concerned about the parking for
Well, I
this
am
business.
concerned about it, but we're gonna open up a door that anything could come in there that we may lose control over. or
So
would
we're,
lose
so the
control.
parking issue for this business is not addressed.
No. Not totally, it is not.
But if
Unless
we-
the oversight and review,
Right.
they can put that in their site plan review.
Right.
They can dictate where they may be able to park.
So in summary, we're finding an avenue to help them be successful downtown with a different code associated with it.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to do, is make them successful. So if we can do that, then I
Right.
would be for that.
Yeah. And that's it. That's exactly what this is gonna do. With still giving us some ownership over future businesses.
So not
that we
really,
try.
not them, they get ushered in, but it helps us to avoid other issues in the future with businesses that might overwhelm the downtown.
Yeah.
Can I clarify that? So the ushering them in, if this amendment passes, then they would have to apply for a special use. That would go to the plan commission for recommendation, and then it would come back to you. I don't know if where we're at on a publication deadline, but roughly a month from now. So they're not guaranteed the award of the special use, if the amendment passes.
So they'd be on the fourth meeting if they
Correct.
so choose, and it would be the first meeting in May that we would vote on that special use.
Yes.
Pending recommendation from the planning.
Is there a way to vote on, how does this work? Like, can you
Oh,
vote
yeah,
on the
so-
first
so-
one, and then if that doesn't go through, then there's an option for,
Yeah, let me speak to that. So you're gonna
vote on the
call,
first.
the first vote will be on the amendment. So there's been a motion and a second made to amend. So there was a motion on the table, motion made to amend. The motion made to amend has higher priority, so you vote on that first. A yay vote on the motion to amend says, yes, I'm in favor of this ordinance changing to make boutique event space a B2 special use, not permitted use. If that passes, then we're gonna have a second vote on the amended ordinance. If that fails, we have a second vote on the original ordinance.
No,
Two votes, so let's walk instead of run. If there's more discussion, certainly appropriate. The discussion right now would be principally on the question of whether this boutique event space should be B2 permitted or B2 special use. Presuming, go ahead.
Right, so the thing to remember is what trustee Hilliard just brought up, is that if we don't do a special use, then any other facility that's downtown that wants to do the same thing can do that, and we won't be able to do anything or worry about parking for any other facility as well. So that's the question that you have to answer, and I guess the thought, though, is that as you look at Jefferson Street between Main and, what is the one, the Plum, that the old police station's on, we know that because of the dance studio on the north side, during its operating time, there are a lot of cars that are moving in and out and about, and people crossing the street at a crosswalk. That they don't go to the crosswalk, they go in the middle of the street, and it's generally kids that are doing that. So we know what trustee Hilliard is saying is we know that we have a problem on that section of Jefferson Street. So do we say, not worry about it? And all we're saying is that through review, this would come back again in the first meeting in May to be voted on, if it goes through the plan commission, to be voted on. I tend to say that I would agree with trustee Hilliard is that we should make sure that whatever decision we make now doesn't come back and cause us a problem later.
The one thing I want to speak to, the idea that it should be a permitted use was my recommendation. A special use should bring with it something unique about the use that requires individual consideration. The premise of zoning is that somebody, unless they're doing something that creates in and of itself in the use something peculiar, you should normally either have it scheduled as yes or no. The idea of zoning isn't that anytime I want to do something, I need to come before a board and get approval in advance. And so I struggled to define what was unique about a boutique event space that would require one-off approval every time. If you want parking requirements, we can address that in our parking ordinance, but I struggled to see whether I'm there or 2 blocks south or 4 blocks west, what about that specific use would steer it more towards a special use where there is a peculiarity in its consequences. That's not to say you can't make it a special use or it would be unlawful, but I wanted to be clear where my thought process was in drafting the ordinance and what was put before the Plan Commission.
And I guess maybe that would be the thing to do is that should we ask them to, going through the special use permit process, our issue on this is really parking. And so if they can tell us their parking plan or their hours of operation that would say it's not going to be as a problem as much, they define that for us through the Plan Commission review and come back and then we can go yes or no.
Understand.
We're talking about a max occupancy of 45 persons, correct?
Yes.
Restaurants and other, what are their occupancies that are located downtown? Do you know?
No idea.
Based on size.
I know, but what are we talking, like what's, are we allowing other things down there with similar occupancies is what I'm trying to get to?
Right.
That we aren't putting them through the same constraints.
So Trustee Cirilli, the thing to remember though is that we're not necessarily talking about this specific
I understand.
item. We're looking at anything that might happen after it.
Which we limited to 45-person occupancies.
Correct. Well, look at most of the buildings that are downtown. They don't have large amounts of space. These aren't, the Farm and Fleet and Walmart buildings.
Yeah.
These are small individual buildings.
I don't envision somebody in a smaller building opening a boutique event space. I mean, it'd be limited to the people that they could put in there anyway. I don't think the parking, to me, is as big of an issue as we're making it out to be, and I don't have, Trustee Hilliard has put something forward. I'm interested in the process that we're taking. I was prepared to vote on what it was, and we're saying that can still happen, or?
Yes, so if you want to vote on the original version, you would vote no, because the next vote you're going to have is yes or no, should the
Okay.
ordinance be amended.
I understand that. And I'm open to more discussion. I'm not ready to vote. Go ahead.
On the same page, we have Pumpkin Festival every year. There's a lot more people that find parking places for Pumpkin Festival, so something to consider.
And as Chief Darce will tell you, it's a nightmare with that, doing that. And-
Didn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
but-
Didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry, I said that as Chief Darce will tell you, that's sort of a nightmare dealing with parking during that time and traveling. But we're talking about that event versus this business in this building. So I don't think that we're, outside of parking, I don't think we're talking about the same thing. So they're both, they have their own uniqueness.
Make a real quick comment. I'm gonna kind of second on Trustee Cirilli's kind of note that from a parking standpoint for a downtown business, the area of downtown doesn't have, they don't have big box retail where they have space for the building and then a massive parking lot next to it. As such, the village has parking lots behind that entire block, both behind their building or actually next to their building, all the way back behind Seasons, and then the bigger parking lot then it's back behind the next block south. Understanding that I don't necessarily disagree with you that like thinking people are going to park on the next block south and walk all the way over, may not be the case. But I'm not sure how you could have more parking in a downtown setting than what we have. We have a pretty good parking lot.
One of the things that I believe that the oversight and plan review can do is designate them to have their patrons park there, or designate a place to where to do, or something on that line. So my concern is overwhelming downtown area, which we see happen now with a potential of 45 vehicles at the same time. So that's a concern that I have. It's a concern that I have that once we open this up it could open something else that we can't see.
Are you afraid people are gonna double park or park illegally or park, we was in downtown Greenville, South Carolina, and we walked 4 blocks to get to where we wanted to go. I mean, that's what you do. And if we're gonna do all this, we're gonna push some people to go somewhere else and keep doing that. These aren't kids. You know, the last time we went through this, it was because these little kids are crossing the street. Well, you know what? They're all doing it. They're all there. We pushed that into a big mess because we wouldn't let them go where they wanted to go. But where in the heck these people going? I want to go there. Am I going to double park? Am I going to park on the sidewalk? Or am I going to find a legal parking spot? And if the Morton police have a problem with that, if I park illegally, then I'm subject to the offense. But I'm gonna park where I can park. I mean, it's not good for business. I disagree with the whole thing.
My one problem I have is we let the Jefferson be built with 4 businesses on the main floor, 1 changed to a restaurant, and they added no parking to the entire downtown. The city paid for all the parking lots that are there. We've improved those in the last few years. I find it hard to hold the old downtown buildings to a standard that they have to provide parking because they never have had to provide it. They never have. And most downtowns don't. The cities put in these parking lots. Well, we put parking lots in and we let a 3-story building be built and their parking lot only serves their apartments. And we added all that downtown. So what right does a new building, just because they're putting a few $1 million into a building, have to come downtown, do no parking, when another 115-year-old building, because we certainly don't want our old downtown buildings to be torn down. That's downtown. And every community wants a vibrant downtown. Businesses tell me they like to see people walking, strollers, dogs. Companies come to town, they want a vibrant downtown. I think they'll find the parking. And I doubt if they're gonna have 45 people at every event there.
I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying that's the possibility. And to address just a little bit what you're talking about, is it's not about the newness or the oldness of the building downtown, it's about what's going on. And obviously, you have concerns post that Jefferson being built with the parking there. What I don't want is down the road that we have regrets or concerns post this.
And again,
And I think
my statement is, I'm not against the boutique being there. The only thing I think we should do is somehow try to help businesses understand that if you're going to do something, we shouldn't just let you do something willy-nilly that's gonna cause a problem. And that's what the special use, with the emphasis on parking, I think, should be. But you can call the vote if you want.
Any other
And if
discussion?
she's gonna have an event, she's gonna tell people who have to park behind Springfield Clinic?
I'm not saying that. I said that's potential, that's up to the oversight.
Well, there is no on-street parking in front of the building. So they're always gonna have to go somewhere else.
Sure.
Right,
But
exactly.
we did
Go to where
build,
there's an open spot.
we did build that parking lot by Springfield Clinic for overflow to the businesses.
Sure, you can't mandate the curb
Right,
cuts
so-
to go there.
Didn't say that, but when you have something, maybe as they rent it out, they would have to tell people where they might have to park. I'm not saying they have to park there, but
Does anybody else have anything to add to discussion, and we'll vote?
Actually, I do. I wasn't going to, but I will. Has anybody been to Fifth Avenue in Naples, Florida? That is the busiest place I've ever been in my life. Every night, it's nonstop traffic. 2-story buildings of about 10 blocks of businesses, and there's people all over the place, but there's no restriction on parking, there's no charge for parking. And people, they'll park 20 blocks away to walk if they have to, but if you cruise up and down, a car leaves and you take that parking spot. It's the most orderly thing I've ever seen, but that's what brings the businesses and that's what brings the people. I was gonna say, I don't think it's a bad thing.
I'll echo, Peoria Heights is another example. Me and my wife go to Peoria Heights all the time. You find a place to park because you want to be down there and you walk to the restaurants, the bars, the boutique shops that are there. I would like to see downtown Morton resemble something like Peoria Heights at some point, and I think we have to be more business friendly, and people will find a way to park and walk where they want to go. And if they're parking illegally, that is handled by our Morton Police Department. And so that's my 2 cents, and I would love to see this business come, and their patrons will find a way. And I don't see it's the biggest concern if we're making it. That's just my 2 cents, and that's where I'll be there.
Okay, Pat, would you
Yep.
tell us what we're voting on for the first time?
Voting on the amendment. So if you vote yes, that means you want this boutique event space to be a B2 special use. If you vote no, you want it to be a permitted use.
So, no, means we're going to vote for the original.
Correct.
Okay, let's call the roll.
Mennel,
No.
Parrot,
No.
Blunier,
No.
Cirilli,
No.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion to amend is not passed.
All right, now tell us what we're voting on.
You're voting on the original ordinance.
Call the vote.
Mennel,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
No.
Leach.
Yes.
Motion to pass original is approved.
You have anything else tonight,
I
Zach?
have one more item tonight, Your Honor. This is item C, petition number 26-03 SP. This is a special use in B2 for instructional fitness studio.
We could have a motion, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
I can
Go ahead,
take
Pat.
this one too. I'll be Zach for the night.
Zach, you're getting off easy tonight.
Set them up on a tee.
We had a party express interest in putting an instructional fitness studio into the property at 401 West Jefferson Street. That's the former Miller Paints. And there was a positive recommendation on their request for a special use.
We could have a motion, but we had the motion. So any comments? Call the roll.
Parrot,
Yes.
Blunier,
Yes.
Cirilli,
Yes.
Hilliard,
Yes.
Yes.
Mennel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Village trustees, anyone have anything? Not, we have a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're accepting that.